it's very weird. But the UEFN community on the Fortnite side, building islands, the team's working so hard. We know that we've heard a lot from our community. There's items they want, there's weapons they want the OGs, they want new styles and updates. And I can't say it enough. Our team is working so hard. They want this to be a really awesome experience for you all, both in and out of your Scholastic matches. So, and you don't have to be a player to compete. That's the best part. You saw that island code, plug that in, go play some Fortnite. I didn't think I was going to say that a couple of years ago, but I'll be shilling it from the rooftops. Go play some Fortnite on PlayVS Zone Wars.
Listen, now they got all the Street Fighter characters up in there. They've got all these different collabs. It's no better time to join, I feel like. But that wraps up for all the esports stuff. But I want to know what the new events are coming up in the next couple of months to seasons. Let's talk about the Scholastic events that are coming up here.
Yeah, this is a new territory in some ways for us here at PlayVS. We've always offered full leagues, like 8-week leagues with some preseason, a playoff, but one-off tournaments have really kind of only been here or there, have been one-off, quite frankly. So this was the one aspect. We wanted to bring additional opportunities for players to compete in titles that we do offer, but also test out some new titles. So I'm really, really excited to really highlight that we're bringing College Football 25, which I was a big 14 fan. I think it's one of the best sports games that was ever made. So College Football 25 is really, really exciting. And then Rocket League Duos. We started offering duos 2v2s for our unified leagues this Scholastic season, but there weren't any full leagues for duos. So the Scholastic events really offer that opportunity to, again, like I said, bring those alternative formats for existing titles and really just try out some new stuff. So this is fun.
Speaking of trying out new stuff, I got to keep showing fighting games myself. All right, listen, Fighter Select League has some really cool stuff, not only just with the league itself, but the things that you can win. What can they win and what am I going to get jealous about not being able to be in participation?
Yeah, so when we launch new titles, I've mentioned his name a lot. You'll see him on this show for sure. I will drag him out here if I have to. But Michael has really been cooking. I'm about to give him a certified sous chef title on our team because he has brought together some really cool stuff for our Street Fighter launch this season. The biggest one is Fighter Select, and it's brand new prize-enabled league that we are really able to offer some incredible stuff for the kids that compete. So it's not just for Fighter Select. Fighter Select is basically the schools submit one team, their top team, if you will. I won't say varsity per se, but the players that really want to show their stuff. There'll be a fun broadcast tied to this, and yeah, the winners, they've got the junk food controller. You see the customization there, the jersey. It's going to be so sick. And then if just playing in our Street Fighter leagues, you've got some raffles that we will give out for participating, because that's the biggest thing. Is yes, we love the competing side, but we really we want the kids to be able to experience esports and competitive gaming and everything it has to offer outside of the winning and losing. So just getting out there and playing is awesome.
That hitbox is so sick. Both of them are, but man, that Fighters one with the orange color scheme is pristine. That is clean. I like what y'all are doing out there. And yeah, I'm going to get the homie out here to give him his flowers because that's such a cool thing to have. Again, really supporting the FGC and then also supporting the other esports, as you mentioned. Now, we're not just doing the upperclassmen in terms of schooling for esports. We're also going a little bit lower than that too as well for middle school. Y'all have some information about that as well?
Yeah, so we announced it a few months ago, but just to highlight, if you didn't know, we are in middle school now. It is super. It's wild to think that me as a 11-year-old kid could have played Super Smash Brothers or my middle school. It's so odd. It's obviously it's great from the again, just the participation standpoint, all the leagues,
Mm-hmm.
it's open enrollment right now. If you're sitting there at home at middle school, or you're a coach with middle school students that are wanting to play, you can go enroll today and start playing in a match next week, as early as next week, because matches ended today. But yeah, it's so cool. But the other side I really wanted to highlight is we had to make some platform adjustments here. I mean, we're fully COP certified, so the data that are the children that are under 13 years old, they need a parent to be tied to their account. We need to make sure that the data and the information that we are getting from underage children are secure and they're safe and they are protected when competing on our platform. So, I mean, my biggest kudos to our product team, who are really who went leaps and bounds overboard to bring middle school to our platform. It is, it's really, really fun to see. I'm excited to see how middle school grows, honestly.
Yeah, man, I'm so jealous. Again, as you mentioned, we didn't have this before. The younger me is so mad I didn't get this. I'm sitting here playing against like the computer or whatever, or against my friends, and being able to, fight people from around the world and things, and esports just in general is such a benefit to being a better player that we just didn't have, with just dusty arcades and things like that. The scene has grown in a good way. So it's cool that y'all are providing that, but there's more, right? You know how like there's, at a gaming event, there's like, but one more thing. They always have one more announcement. You got one more announcement on this, right?
And we got one more, just one more. What PlayVS has always really dove into the scholastic platform and really focused on what we could do to improve just the scholastic space. Started with high school, then to middle school. I'm repping the jersey right now. We had an internal group. Many of you might have played against our internal team. They were referred to as PlayVS Stadium, and that has now grown into an entirely new platform where regardless of whether or not they are in a school or not, this is a non-scholastic platform where just as signing up for a weekly, players can go in, hop in, register, sign up, and start playing, start competing. We've got some really cool initial inaugural events that are happening over on that side. Some people might be familiar with Upgrade Arena from the spring when we offered it for Valorant, but this time it is back for Rocket League specifically. The enrollment for that has already closed, but we've got matches starting tomorrow. It's sick. We've got a pretty strong bracket so far. Some kids from the Scholastic side, some new faces. Got a broadcast coming next week. Man. Saint, do you like Rocket League?
I played it. I was terrible at it, but I'll watch it from time to time. Shout out to my boy Damascus. He used to commentate that, and he kind of got me into it a little bit watching it. And it's one of those that you can just watch casually and have fun and not know too much, because it's soccer with cars. I'm sorry, football with cars. Please don't burn me for that one. I'm sorry, my bad.
We gotta boot him. We gotta boot him
with cars. I'm sorry. Oh God. But no, it's great. It's great to watch. Y'all should definitely tune in if you are new to it. It's a very, very easy watch.
It's in my opinion, the best esport from a viewership standpoint. You can come in with any education level in terms of the esports side, whether or not you've seen games your whole life or you've never seen a video game before. Rocket League is so straightforward. So definitely tune in. We've got an awesome broadcast next week. And if you are playing in the actual Upgrade Arena Rocket League, exclamation point upgrade in the chat. You'll get the full link and all the information, but you got a chance to win in-game credit. $20 of it. That's a decent, that's like what, 2 battle passes nowadays? For Rocket League. That's a lot of content you can get. And all you got to do is submit clips of your games in Rocket League.
They're already gonna do that anyway. Like, how many times do y'all clip your stuff? Yo, chat, clip that. Chat, clip that. Now you actually have a use for that, right? So we're just giving you a reward for things you're already be doing in the first place. So watch that tomorrow. That'll be coming through tomorrow. I think it's at 2 p.m. ET. No, I'm sorry, 12 p.m. ET.
Yeah.
is when the matches start. There we go.
Yeah, matches start.
Tune in for
we'll
that.
have a full broadcast next week on the 19th specifically.
There we go, 19th. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm already so excited just to watch some Rocket League and get into that. We still have a little bit more though to go through. Talk to me about the Madden Youth Championship qualifiers too.
I've said it a lot. I've said it a lot so far. The Madden Youth Championship. I've talked about excitement and being excited. This is one of the coolest things that we have done so far. Being able to partner directly with several NFL clubs and with EA to provide the Madden 25 Youth Championship is awesome. Our regional leagues on the Scholastic side are participating in this as well. But this is specifically on the Stadium platform, non-Scholastic. It is open for enrollment right now. If you are 13 to 18, go sign up for this. Throw your hat in the ring. If you win this event, you're getting a trip to the Pro Bowl to compete in a final. It's actually insane. The words that are coming out of my mouth are just do not truly comprehend sometimes when these things are happening. But this is fun. This is a really cool opportunity.
How many times have y'all have booted up the game EA Sports? It's in the game, and y'all can be a part of that. Now you could be a big part of that. They're back. That is so cool to have a company back at esports, back just in general, just something you're going to be doing anyway in the first place. So definitely sign up ASAP. You could win a free trip, bro. A trip is insane. That is just wild to me. But we have gone through a lot of stuff in terms of events and esports here out of Play Versus. Now it's time to do the thing that we talked about earlier, is highlighting the people in this community that are doing the most and doing the best out here for their students. I think it's time to introduce our coach, let me put some respect on your name. Super Coach Chatfield in the building. My G, how are you feeling today? And talk to me a little bit about what's going on in your high school.
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Enjoying our fall break right now, just hanging out, grinding some video games, and just getting yelled at by people online because I play for fun. And so, it's that good old thing. But before we get going, we got to do this first. We got to get a selfie going on. Everybody smile. All right, appreciate it. Got to document all that stuff.
Of course.
Exactly.
So
please do.
You work at the Van Cleaver High School. Coach there out in Mississippi. I just want to know a little bit just about what you do real quick, how your team is doing right now, or at least how you are doing just in general in the esports community in the field. Give me like a quick just summary.
So the good thing is that I was given the privilege of starting the program in 2019. And then because we did so well that year, not necessarily in terms of awards, but just in the community that we created within our school, that when we came back from COVID, the kids were like, when are we doing esports? Like, we don't have to be near each other like everybody else, so let's just do this. And so there was a huge support there when the kids did that. And just over the years, we've grown and grown from, a core group of 5 or 6 guys and to now we average about 25 to 35 kids per season, which also includes our unified students that are at our schools.
Nice. That's quite a bit actually. When you think about like locals, even like the fighting game communities, that they're usually around 20 to 30 per game. So that's already a significant amount. I'm sure it will grow throughout the years. Now, I've given you an easy question now for the hard question. And just so you know, I didn't put this in the document. This was production's fault. We're going to hit you with the hardest question of the night thus far. What are your top 3 to 5 video games? They don't have to be esports games at all. They can just be whatever games that you like. Top 3 to 5.
Now I understand why they wouldn't share that document with me. It's on the point. All right. It's payback because I'm a teacher, right? Okay. So that's super easy. So I'm an 80s baby, right? And so I'm a little bit older than most of the people watching right now. But back in the day when you had those arcades, man, Dragon's Lair, Princess Daphne, can't touch it. Like laser disc, you had to work on your timing. It was on. As I grew up a little bit, not by much, but as I grew up a little bit, I loved Contra, being a Konami baby and the up, down, down, left, right, all that stuff. You try it in every single game because it's there somewhere. It was the absolute best game when your parents said you can have one more game because you couldn't save games back then. There was no pausing or anything like that. It's like you got a game. Let me tell you, 30 lives and an hour later, I got in trouble. It was all good. When I got taller, it became pinball, and now my leisure time, I do a lot of, when I'm at home, a lot of League and Rocket League just to kind of hang out and just challenge myself a little bit.
I love that. All right, hey, and speaking of League of Legends, I saw you in Coach Rivals. You're taking home the gold. I saw it happen.
Yeah, we did. It was the good thing about Coach Rivals is sometimes you play, sometimes you're in production, sometimes you get to commentate, whether you know the game or not. I made up names. My first season, I didn't know who anybody was. Like, I was like the Toy Story character, ended up being Urgot. Like there was all. I just called it the way they looked. But over time, and just being able to interact with a group of 500 plus teachers and adult enthusiasts of games that really want the scholastic scene to succeed from coast to coast is a really good group to be with.
Yeah, I love the Coach Rivals group. Coop and the team have did a great job this season. I got lucky enough to really watch it this time around. I've missed it the last couple of years, but it was super super fun to see.
Yeah, and shout out to Merlin, who needed a lot of patience for me in the bot lane as his support. But he never knew what I was going to do because I never knew either. I was like, this looks like a great idea. Let's try it. So that was pretty much our whole season.
Limit testing live. That's what we love to see. So we know what you were doing over the summer, at least a little bit. But when it comes to, especially when you're in the scholastic space, you have kids that transfer, you have kids that graduate. Like those are just things that happen pretty naturally over the course of a scholastic year as you wrap up. What are some of the bigger hurdles you had to overcome and face as you were coming back from that summer break?
Well, the first most annoying thing is updating equipment. Just simple as that. Like it's with whether you have a small program or you have a larger program, you got to reconnect all that stuff to the internet for the first time in months, and it may be 45 minutes to update, one switch. And if you got 8 switches, you're like, oh my goodness, this is wild. That's one thing. The next thing is just team logistics because, let's face it, video gamers, we're a fickle bunch. Like we'll do it once, and if it's fun, we'll do it again. But it may not be, we may like just staying at home and playing with, with the crew and just being online and trolling folks. We're not into the team setting, so you never know. Like you could have had a state runners-up team one year, and the next year you've got a bunch of bronzes playing for you, and you just because they just I did it once, I'm good, I'm ready to move on, So still creating that team bond with new students, letting folks know that it's a thing. Because as big as video games are, it's still, not everyone knows that you can play that at school, like without getting in trouble. And it's not on coolmath.com or, unlockedgames.io or, wherever the other things that you find, And so it's just like getting that going. And then once you start talking to kids and it's like, oh, what games do you play? And you don't list their game. Whew, that's a hard one to overcome. And so it's just like you really got to talk to them and try to convince them to be like, hey, just come be part of something, see what it is, come to tryouts, see the people that are there, this may be a spot for you, and just trying to get students engaged in any ways they want to. And definitely by far the hardest part is just easing my wife back into the coach lifestyle where I'm not home all the time, and I don't get home right after school. I stay late, and then I stay even later to get ready for the next day. Like those are the logistics that are difficult when it comes to getting back into the swing of things for the fall.
That all being said, you kind of answered a little bit, but I need more. I need more information in terms of how you keep these players in when they're in, and also I guess how you get them in the first place. Like what are your tactics to kind of goad people into playing esports and then keeping them there? So I guess what I want to ask is, what are your top 3 tips in terms of grabbing people's attention for esports and then keeping their attention for esports throughout the entirety of the season? Keep them hyped up.
Well, I'm gonna give you 3 letters: VTW. Make it visual, make it tangible, make it walk aroundable. Right? VTW.
Ooh, it's bars.
So the first thing is daily announcements. if you got upcoming events, if you've got, whether it's a STEM night at a local elementary school or a fundraiser that you're doing at the library or whatever it is, making sure that it's always being heard. Just like, I mean, you're a content creator. You take a couple days off and they're like, oh man, we thought you died. Like it's just one of those things. So you always let them know about, hey, Splatoon's got a match today and they're ranked blank in the region, and then Smash is going up against these two folks. We beat them last year, so we're looking at revenge. Like it's kind of like that hype thing in the morning announcements, and then especially the day after is like I have a whole thing that's typed out and I just insert names and scores, and I was like, congrats to the Van Cleve, esports Smash team led by, and then I pick one of the students that was on the team that represents, what we're trying to do. Not necessarily they had the most points, the most assists, but maybe they were just kept everybody's brains in the game. Maybe they were showing good sportsmanship, when people start talking trash because they know nobody's going to be able to hear them but whoever else is in the room, and so getting that shout out that like, I'm the reason, you're giving them credit school-wide, they're the reason why your team won, right? Pep assemblies, where traditionally it's we do pep assemblies for football games, and then it kind of teeters off throughout the school year. But if you do student month rallies or academic rallies or anything like that, when it comes time to your season, try to get the kids to walk through the alley or the galley, or when I was in high school it was the upside down L, that we walked through, and that gives them a little bit of attention. They got a jersey on, they're announced, they walk out, they wave, and they go have a place to sit. Show them your space, open house night, be like, hey, check out our esports room, and the kids come in there, and it just takes a couple of LED lights and they're sold. They could be Commodore 64s, and they're like, whoa, like, they're ready. And the other thing is, about giving them the space is not everybody likes to touch grass. I know it's an achievement in some game. I forget what the name of it is, but I know but not everybody wants to go outside, and play volleyball or basketball or football or just hang out underneath a tree. Some of us, like to be pale and just stay inside. And so giving them a place to where like, oh, I can work towards something, whether it's, attendance or it's academics. And I know on reward day, I get to go to the esports spot and just play some games in there and hang out with some of my friends, where if it's like, oh yeah, we're going to go over to the park and we're going to do XYZ at the park. I'm like, well, I don't care if I'm at school then, because I don't want to be outside. It's hot. It's Southern Mississippi, so, right. Just being able to have that space for somebody that doesn't really conform to what the norm of the whole school community is.
I love that. You said VTW. Give me that again, Coach Chatfield.
VTW, visual, tangible, and walk-aroundable.
Bars.
Walk-aroundable. I'm gonna have to write that down. I'm gonna put that up on the wall. We need a flag. We need all of that. I see it in the chat right now. Don't touch grass. We're gonna have a Play versus downloads log line is just gonna be don't touch grass. I'm just calling it now. But you hit on a couple things too. I know it was the funny, like you put a little bit of RGB in there and everybody catches your eye. I mean, I've seen RGB beds where it's like sleeping with the textbook by your head. You sleep with RGB at your headboard, you're just going to gain LP. That's, I guess, that feels like what it's going to be. But when you're talking about it's kind of creating that space, it feels like a big aspect of it is getting school admins involved and getting your administration on board, getting ADs, principals, just anywhere from the top down involved in understanding just the benefits that are coming out of this. Like, how crucial has it been for you and your program to keep your school admins on the same page when it comes to esports?
Well, it's super crucial because not all admin get it. Whether it's the AD, whether it's the principal, or whoever's in charge of student interest groups on campus, is helping them understand exactly what gaming is. And a lot of times that comes with just relating it to established sports that they're familiar with, whether their kids do it or whatnot, and just taking the time to not look at that as like I got to overcome a sales pitch that my principal is putting against me, but more from an education standpoint as to like, we want you want the same results from this group of kids that you're having trouble reaching. Gaming is an opportunity to do that, for some of them. And so just like showing them what you need and why you need it. You talked about the RGB and the lights and stuff. Our previous administration and stuff. We were looking at some computers, and we had a conversation because they were really good computers. They were stellar, and I was like, but those won't work. And they're like, well, why not? Like, they have everything that you said. I was like, yeah, but they don't look like gamer computers. They look like a desktop that you would have in an office someplace, even though the inside is just massive and it's strong and everything. But if our students don't see that it looks cool, then they're just going to think it's like a regular computer. Then it's going to be confusing. So kind of translating just some of the goofy stuff that we do and the things that affect us to where they understand it. Without them feeling like, oh, I can't believe you don't understand this. Why doesn't this work? Like, you have to, at the end of principle, it's PAL. They are your pal, right? They may not understand, but I would venture to say that most principals want to understand because they want their schools to be successful. And how do they do that? They do that by making their kids successful. Well, how do they make their kids successful? They get them connected. All right, well, how do we get this group of kids that are underrepresented and unconnected? Esports room, video games at school. Right? It may take a little while. It may sound a little weird, but it's going to work.
That is nice. It sounds like you have like a lot of good stories in terms of working with, the admins and things like that to establish things to happen, because it sounds like you have a lot of knowledge in general that has come from experience. But I want to know the experience from the student's perspective. Can you give me a positive story that someone has had, one of your high school students has had with their team or, engaging in esports out here at the high school itself?
Well, I think universally it's a lot about, having your space, right? Being able to have a jersey or a hoodie with your team on it or something that you're involved with. And when you walk around campus, you're able to wear it and you're like, this is my hallway, that I'm walking down now, and being able to have a little bit of, I'm using a really old person word here, but moxie while you're walking through the school, some clout type of thing. I didn't want to embarrass myself and try to use some of the words that my middle schoolers use right now. So, but like, I think the biggest thing is like, you don't really know what's happening. I know, yeah. You don't really know what's happening, and it surprises you at all different times. Like last year, my unified Rocket League team was practicing, and we were the last ones in the room. And a parent came in, and honestly hadn't ever met that parent before. And he was like, "Hey, coach, can I speak to you for a second?" I was like, "Sure." I didn't know he was the parents of one of my players. And then he mentioned the student's name, and I was like, okay, yeah. And he pulled out state testing scores. I don't remember if it was algebra or history, one of the two. But, like, dude killed it. Like, just absolutely destroyed that test. Like, he wrote it himself. And I was like, well, thank you for sharing that for me. I mean, that's pretty awesome. He didn't say anything at practice today. And he's like, well, he didn't say anything because he wasn't sure what to say. And so I'm going to say it for him. But, I asked him, like, how did you do so good on this test? Because you really don't like this subject. He goes, because my coaches. My coaches believe in me, and my coaches believe that I can do it. And so, I felt confidence while I was taking those tests. And it's little things like that. The other thing that's really cool was 2 seasons ago, we started the Unified program. And so we have students with Down syndrome and autism and severe anxiety and just a litany of other things that prevent them from playing and participating in traditional sports. And I don't mean like just being part of the team because you have a jersey and you walk out with them and you're on the sidelines, you're in a dugout, that type of thing. But like, you are the competitor, you are the athlete. And having those kids and being able to interact with them and learn more about like how I interact with folks, not just them, but just people in general. And then having that permeate into the room of our entire program, and watching the students, become more accepting, watching the students having conversations, with people they normally wouldn't talk with. inviting people to come over. Hey, come play this game with me. And I don't know how to play that one. It doesn't matter. Let's just have some fun, and creating that sense of community inside of our team and stuff, and seeing those little things on a daily basis. We signed a student last year for our first signing to go off to play Rocket League for college. And no matter how many times you say it, kids don't believe it till they see it. Back to that VTW, we had a signing day. News came out and stuff like that, and then we ended up going up to the college for finals, and more kids wanted to go up there. So it's like connecting that. Oh, I may be able to get an extra meal plan out of this, or be able to get my books paid for, depending on what school you go to and what their program is like, and just kind of being able to see all those realizations that kids will never tell you that they get, but they'll show you. They won't say, "Hey, coach, you were right." No, they're just going to troll and dog me the whole time. But when they start seeing it, you'll start seeing their actions, right? That's where you really know that your program's doing something right, and you're connecting with them really well.
That's awesome. You said it so right. Like you'll rarely hear the reinforcing feedback that this is good. We want to keep seeing this. Their actions really say that. They'll be very quick to tell you the negative stuff, the critical stuff. They won't let you away with anything. Like I said, I'm not going to use any of the terms. I saw a term in chat. I'm not even going to say it out loud.
Yeah.
But it's awesome, and thank you for sharing it with us. I mean, it makes me feel it's I would say 90% of why I love being able to have the opportunity to do what I do, because the kids just get to see them get so much out of it. Signing days are awesome. I love that y'all are doing it. That y'all did it for your player, and I'm hoping that Van Cleve gets to do a whole lot more of them. So we've got one final one. Chat, if you got any big ones, we got Coach Chatfield here. Let us know if you got any big questions, things lingering on your mind. But the last one we've got for you, Coach, is going to be for those first-time coaches coming in. Maybe they're stepping into an existing program. Maybe they're building one from scratch. What's the advice you've got for those first-time coaches as they're like trying to navigate the early part of the season and get through the school year?
I gotcha. First and foremost is communicate with the other coaches you're competing against. We want to win, and we want to beat your school. But the other part of it is that we want your school program to be successful too. We want you to be successful because we know how stressful it was, whether, you've been doing it for several seasons like I have, or you're in your second season. Like, we've all got an experience that we can share to help somebody, through that next one. The ultimate goal is we want our kids to compete, and there's a lot of things that push against that. So communicating with other coaches. Next up is give responsibility to your players, right? When they have ownership, then more things are going to happen, and you can delegate stuff a little bit more. Just because, like, my worst day throughout the week is 2 Smash teams, 2 two Mario Kart teams, and a Splatoon team all going at the same time. Right, that's a lot of kids, and then heaven forbid a switch goes down or someone gets disconnected, and you plug in the wrong information into the match assist, for one team, and you thought you were on the other. Like, it can go wild in an instant. So passing that on to them will be able to help you do what you need to do, which is facilitate a program. Not necessarily coach in the sense of a traditional name of the coach type of thing, and teaching you how to play better. Because quite frankly, there's no way I'm going to teach as a super strong gold Rocket League player going to be able to help my diamond and champ level players. I'm not going to be able to. There's things that I can help them with, so they can focus on the skill that they have and not worry about all the other little things. And then finally, this is not my thing, but this is from a professional development group of teachers from around the world that I was introduced to back in 2016 through Jostens Renaissance. And they have a results formula that I use in my classroom, and I also use in my program. And it's the 6 R's. All right. So the first R is respect. And what you want to do is you want to identify the values that you respect. right? And let that be the forefront of every decision that you make in your program. And once you've identified those things, then you start working into your recognize and your reward. So and that's how I select my students when I come to shout outs during the PA systems and announcements in the morning. I recognize that you did the right thing. Yeah, you were mad that another teammate did not do their part, but you still, helped them through, that process, or, when you got tilted, right? And then you reward them by their name being called out, or, through the team site, you can print up certificates for, player of the week and, things along that line. And then the next are for those of y'all that are counting, the fourth one is you got reinforce. And then the reinforcement is basically you just go back to the first three. It's respect, recognize, and reward. What identifying what did you respect, what are you valuing this week or this month, and then you recognize the students and the players that did that, and you reward them for doing that. So you're creating this positive reinforcement. And through all of that, as a coach, you also have to be vulnerable. Like I said earlier, like I'm a gold player. There's no way I can help a champ player be better at Rocket League, right? When it comes, because everyone thinks about flip resets and pinches and all dribbles and stuff like that. Like I'm lucky to not just fly over the ball and kick off. But what I can do is I can notice when they're doing too much, when they're not allowing their teammates to do things. I can, how are we communicating to each other? Are you guys talking enough? Are you just getting into your own little solo queue world? Things like that. And through that, I create some, vulnerability between me and them. And that builds a relationship, right, between me and my players. They're not just coming in on 2 days a week, one for practice and one for competition. They're coming in and be like, hey, how was your day? Oh, math class sucked. I hate this subject. This teacher's so annoying. Like, and you're building all these type of things, and more serious things come up, and you become a resource for them to, make it through their day and look forward to the next day. And so after you do all of those things, you identify your respect, you recognize and you reward, in that reinforcement you do, in the developing of relationships, you're going to get the results you want inside your program. That climate and culture that is inside the room that you want is going to show up. It may not be instantaneous. It may take a couple of seasons. It may take the right group of kids, but, what you decide to focus on as a coach will ultimately be what your students and your players are going to focus on as well. Results are not just necessarily win columns and loss columns. The most fun games I've had are the ones where I've just been decimated and we just started having fun and enjoying playing and stuff like that. And then just doing little things inside of inside of our group, and I think if more coaches saw it like that, or found a way to see something like that for their program, then I think the longevity of their program will have a much more positive impact, not only on the students in the school, but definitely as the coach as well.
Coach, those are some fantastic words. I really hope I don't run into any of your players in rank the way that you teaching. You making demons out there in Mississippi. I really appreciate your time. I'm super afraid of my MR, my points. I don't know if I'll step in Rocket League the way you're talking right there, but it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you and really get an idea of how you are, driving the esports out your school and your ideation in terms of how you are teaching your students to be more powerful, honestly, in the areas that even maybe that you can't reach. There are other areas that you can, and how you keep them consistent. Logan, any final words to the super coach?
No, man. Thanks, Coach. I know we interact a lot. We get to work together often for you being on the super coach side, but I appreciate the words of wisdom, your time here today. I know you said you were on break. Most teachers, they want to kick back. They take the break, enjoy the time away, but I couldn't thank you enough for the time. It's been awesome hearing your experience. I always love getting to be a part of this thing. And Saint, thank you for taking us this far, and I trust that you'll be able to carry us home.
Absolutely. I appreciate the time to have something to say and to share what I've done. And the platform to PlayVS gives gamers around the country to show off their stuff and make it to that next level.
Thank you both for tuning in with us and going through the PlayVS stuff. We're not done yet, though. People, if I'm here, there's a reason, right? And that reason is Street Fighter. PlayVS approached me after we did an event over at SecretCon and said, what's the Street Fighter stuff about? As Logan mentioned, he played it, he enjoyed it. He went up to his higher ups. I guess there are bigger wigs than him out there, but he was able to talk with them and get something cool going, a Street Fighter style going. Proud to announce that I'm out here to talk to you all about Ultimate Street Fighter. That's right. Ultimate Street Fighter is going to be out here. A 3v3 system, a team-based battle in the upcoming weeks. Shout out to PlayVS for putting this on. Listen, we're going to have 5 weeks of coaching of not only from me, but some of your favorite people from the community, people that you definitely highly respect and would like to actually be coached by. We'll announce those at a later time, but if you know anything about coaching the FGC, you know anything about the big minds of the community of Street Fighter, you could probably already guess the first one. The other ones, well, I'll leave that to your imagination. But these coaches, including me, will be going through your skills, training you to be better, and we'll have a final 3v3 showdown live. That's right, live on a broadcast. We'll be taking you through your maybe minute things that you have to correct, or maybe the bigger things as well. And it doesn't matter who you are and how you play or what rank you are. You can be an iron rank for all I care. I don't care if you're a master rank. I don't care if you're even better than me. I can find something to change about you to better you, because it could be something with your fireballs. Maybe your zoning's bad. Maybe you can't anti-it properly, or maybe you just don't know how to play Street Fighter just in general. We are welcoming everybody as long as you sign up, and you only have a week to sign up. That's right. I'm going to need you to scan this QR code that's going to be coming up on the screen real soon at some point to join up. Again, only a week. Hit that QR code, apply today. Let's give a quick moment of silence for you guys can sign up. Okay, yeah, go ahead and sign up right there. Again, we're going to be out here training you up, helping you to get better and be a better Street Fighter player in the way that you want to be a better Street Fighter player. Maybe some of y'all want to be better in certain elements. We can identify those. And with the cool things that Street Fighter has to identify the different issues and things like that, the replay system, we could utilize that. We'll sit down with you for a little bit and really talk out some of the things and hash out what you need to correct yourself. And again, we'll have that final 3v3 showdown live on the broadcast at the end of everything. And as we go on, we'll be talking and showcasing that on the future episodes of PlayVS Download. I cannot wait to have y'all learn from the pros, learn from me, get this free, and I do mean free coaching opportunity. Again, this is not just for people who are high level. It could be any level. Just scan the QR code as you saw on the screen, join up, but hurry up. Only a week. I keep repeating this because some of you players, especially fighting game players, take a little bit longer to sign up and you wait till the last minute. Don't do that. Don't let the seats fill up. Don't let that be you and be all upset when your favorite content creator or player or what have you joins up. And you're like, oh, I could have got a free coaching session from them. And you don't want to miss out. You definitely do not want to miss out. Listen, people, it's been an absolute blast out here, PlayVS. Thank you so much for implementing Ultimate Street Fighter. I really want to say thank you so much for all the support that they've been showing. FGC, they were immediately happy to see how grateful we are in the community for this kind of thing. And I hope we keep this pushing. So please show your support out there. Retweet, let people know what's going on. Maybe even, join some of these tournaments and let me know if you're joining some of the tournaments too as well. I'd like to see what you're doing out there. But that does it for me and the rest of the PlayVS community until we meet again. Last thing I'll say is stay safe and we will see you in the streets. Good night, everybody.